Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Jaya Nittai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Srila Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Whenever you're ready, we're ready. Are you ready? Begin. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. What happened to your microphone? Ah. Okay.
She can speak some few words about Enos Mataji.
Okay. 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 As soon as the neck beats are completed, we're going to chant together Sri Brahma Samhita next, and everyone should have a sheet. And I purposely, because I'm going to chant swiftly, and I'll speak right into the microphone, so you keep my pace, and we'll be doing just fine. Is this husband and wife? Yes. Long awaited, right? Long awaited. So let us begin. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakada Sadma Sukalpa Briksha Laksha Pratesa Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Amaham Bhajam Venum Kanvantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamani Abhishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandrakada Sadvana Malya Vangshi Ratnangadam Pranayakeda Kalavilasam Shamam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sarujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Advaitam Achutim Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedesha Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Pantasto Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manaso Manipungavanam Sopyasti Yat Prapadasinya Vachincha Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Saura Chayatam Jagadanda Kotim Yach Chaktirasti Jagadanda Chayayadantaha Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Yad Baba Baba Tariyoma Najasta Teva Samprapya Rupam Haimasha Nayana Boshaha Suktairyameva Nigama Pratataisthavanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Tabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Nivisatnya Kilatma Bhoto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vinochanena Santaksa Daiva Hridayesha Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintukana Sarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtushakalani Amena Tishtan Nana Vratara Makarod Bhavaneshu Kinto Krishnaksmayam Sambhavavak Paramak Pamanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabha Tishvashesha Vasadhadi Vibhoti Binnam Tad Brahma Niskalamanantam Ashesha Bhotam Govindamadi Purusham Maya Yasha Jagadanda Shatani Sute Traigunya Tad Vishaya Veda Vitaya Mana Sattva Valambi Parasatvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasamatayama Naksu Yat Praninam Pariparam Smarutam Upeja Leela Yatenu Bhavanani Jagat Yatasram Govindamadi Purusham Golokanamni Nijadamni Tane Chatasya Devi Mahesha Hanadama Suteshu Teshu Te Te Prabhavati Hinyavi Tashay Tamaham Bhajami Shristi Stati Pralasada Nashtaktarika Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharati Durga Ichchana Rupama Yasya Tate Tate Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shiram Yatadit Hivekara Vishesha Yogat Sanjayat Pratigasti Hetuho Yaksham Bhutam Apitata Samupaiti Karyad
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Deepanashar Ebra Hidasham Tanam Abhyapetya Deepayate Vrita Hetu Samana Dharma Yastadrak Eva Hita Vishnu Taya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Yam Karanarnava Jali Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidramananta Jagadanda Saroma Kopaha Adara Shakti Mambalamya Param Sumurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyaika Nishvashita Kalamatavalamya Jivanti Loma Vinaja Jagadandanataha Vishnur Mahansya Yasya Kalabhishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Basvanya Tankshma Shakalesha Jajesha Tejaha Sriyam Kiyad Prakadiyad Tadvidad Vadatra Brahmaya Isha Jagadanda Vedana Karta Govindamad Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yat Pada Pallava Yugam Vinadhaya Kumbha Dvanve Pranama Samaye Saganadi Raja Vighan Vihantam Aramacha Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Angar Ambramrudashascha Kalas Tatma Manasita Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Ancha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yakshaksha Isa Savita Sakala Rahana Ajasa Mustra Suramurti Rashesha Tejaha Yasya Gabramiti Sambrita Kana Chakra Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmo Tapapa Nishaya Shrutaya Stapangsi Brahmadi Kita Patagava Dayasya Jivaha Yadratrama Rikata Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yastvindra Gopamata Vendra Mahosra Karma Bandana Rupa Padabhajana Matanoti Karma Di Nirda Hita Kinchucha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Kroda Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Bhiti Vatsalya Mahar Gora Gaurava Sevya Bhavai Sanchintya Tasha Sadashim Tanam Aparete Govindamadi Purusham Maham Bhajami Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Pugrusha Kalpataravo Duma Bhumis Chintamani Ganik Toyam Amritam Kanat Yam Natyam Gana Priyasaki Chidandam Dam Jyoti Paramapita Dasvadyam Apicha Sa Yatra Charadvir Shavati Sarabhibhyasya Sumahan Nimeshad Yakyo Vavrachati Nahi Yatrapi Samaya Vaje Shweta Dvipam Tamaham Iha Goloka Mityam Vidantaste Shantashati Viralachara Katipaye Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Purifying. There's reasons for chanting these mantras for purification and also to honor our Sampradaya Acharya, Lord Brahma, in part because Lord Brahma achieved what he achieved by his chanting of mantra. We're accustomed to hearing, it's in Canto 2 and Canto 3, Srimad Bhagavatam, that Lord Brahma, after being born from the lotus stem from the navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, there was, in the language of Brahma Samhita, there was only darkness in all directions. Meaning there wasn't anything. There was space, akash, but there wasn't anything within space. It was just him and the lotus flower and darkness. Being very intelligent, he started asking questions. because intelligent people ask questions. And his question was, who am I? Where have I come from? Sometimes intelligent people ask those questions, and being intelligent, and since there was only darkness in all directions, he listened carefully, and he heard a splashing sound. The splashing sound was the waves of the ocean of milk. So he reasoned. We are encouraged to be inquisitive and using our reasoning faculties. If I'm sitting on this lotus flower, if I climb down the stem, I can find where I came from. Very reasonable. So he started climbing down the stem and down the stem and down the stem and down the stem, and he couldn't find an end to the stem. Because the stem is spiritual, and he was using material faculties to discern that which isn't material. Then good fortune came. He heard the syllables ta, pa. Now, if I heard the syllables ta, pa, I wouldn't know what to do with that. But he did. It was an instruction from the source of everything that he should accept the position of tapa, or austerity. And so he climbed back up the stem, sat on the lotus flower, and from the spiritual potency, the Swarup Shakti of Krishna, who has different aspects. One of those aspects is the primordial goddess Saraswati. He received a mantra. He was initiated, Diksha, by receiving a mantra from Saraswati. So he began, his tapa was to chant this mantra. And as he chanted his mantra and chanted his mantra and chanted his mantra, he heard a second sound. The second sound was Krishna's flute. The ISKCON artists have made a nice cover painting for Sri Brahma Samhita, and it shows Krishna and Krishna playing upon his flute, and the flute sound going into the ear of Brahma. He heard the sound of Krishna's flute from the purification of chanting the first of his two Gayatri mantras, and then from his mouth came the second Gayatri mantra, Kama Gayatri mantra. Pretty mysterious, huh? And then he began chanting the second mantra along with the first mantra. And for a long time, there are different iterations. In the Brahma Samhita says one thing, and the Bhagavatam says another, but long duration of time, like long duration of time. And in the course of that chanting of this mantra, according to Brahma Samhita, he became well acquainted with the ocean of truth, which is a nice way of saying that knowledge that is already within him arose. That is the cleansing and the awakening, those two things. Just from chanting a mantra. From chanting a mantra, cleansing and awakening. He's Lord Brahma. He's not just, a nice Prabhu. He's the most intelligent and elevated being in the universe, the firstborn living being. And he has a task awaiting him. And that's not building a 747 or, a computer or a Hubble telescope, or, he was to create a universe. Not, each Brahma, according to the Vedic picture of things, how many universes are there? Too many to count. How many bubbles are there in the ocean? Too many to count. As soon as you start counting, there's more bubbles. So, unlimited universes, innumerable. There's some finite number, but too many to count. And that many Brahmas. So each universe, the same thing happens. Slightly varied, that's fine, but the same principles. And he was to build the universe. And he has this mode of passion, Shrishti Shakti, this potency to create, but he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't, but he wants to know. And he knows that he doesn't know, and he's got the means of knowing. And the means of knowing is his mantra. And so he became well acquainted with the ocean of truth, and these prayers that we just recited, it's the mature realization. It's his elucidation of his realizations of the ocean of truth. And it's not everything, but it's principle-based, and it's very nice verses. In the very, very early days, Srila Prabhupada, arrangements were made for him to have access to a recording studio, and in the recording studio, he recorded his singing of Sri Brahma Samhita. And there was an introduction to Sri Brahma Samhita, and in the introduction, which was his recorded voice, and we at that time the technology was, we had LP, long playing, plastic records. So we listened to it every day. And because one of the things he said at the introduction is, one should enter into the spirit of this hymn as a regular daily function. It was like an instruction. And so we liked it. It was his instruction. So we put the two together and we did it every day. During Prasadam, it was a nice time to listen to transcendental sound vibrations when you're taking transcendental Prasadam every day. It was really nice. And from that inspiration, I have developed a lot of fascination and attraction and some feelings for Sri Brahma Samhita. And one day, Krishna permitting, because I do too many other things, there'll be a little Sri Brahma Samhita book that explains the verses, not just these Brahma Samhita prayers, the Govinda prayers, but the whole book. And it's really, it's a capsule, but it's heavy, it's very weighty. So I like, for a reason, Prabhupada's instruction, and the sound vibration is purifying. Even if you don't understand what it is, it's okay. Hear it anyways. And then, like anything that you hear it anyways, you hear it again and hear it again and hear it again and hear it again, and it becomes osmosis. It goes inside. And then you're not just hearing the sound, but you want to know the meaning of the sound. So then you go to the book, and the book gives the meaning. So then when you're chanting the mantras, you're chanting the mantras while meditating on the meaning of the mantras. And you become well acquainted with the ocean of truth, just from sound. It's a very nice process. And even children can do. And they're just big children, but we can do. So that's why we did what we just did, just for purification. And I want to speak on two things. This is the initiation talk along with a little preamble here. The function today is the Harinam Diksha. The Diksha means, there's a nice verse in the scriptures that says what Diksha is. It's the giving of transcendental knowledge. Tato dadyat. The Kovidas, the learned persons, have defined Diksha as the process by which transcendental knowledge is imparted. Transcendental knowledge is imparted through sound. One may not initially get the whole thing. It's just like school. You learn something, and then you practice that something, and then you start to understand better that something, and then you go to the next and next and next. And before you know it, you know a lot. But it's just a method of transmitting knowledge through sound. So Diksha is a process through which knowledge is transmitted through sound. And the primary sound for us is the mantra. And from mantra comes so many other sounds. So many other sounds. So this is initiation ceremony. And according to the teachings of Rupa Goswami, there may be some newer people here, so I'll just say a little bit of who is Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is on every ISKCON altar. There's disciplic succession on the lower shelf, and then there's also the predecessor acharyas. In the predecessor acharyas, there's Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda on the altar, the main deities here. And disciples of Lord Chaitanya, principal of them were the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya sent them to Vrindavan. After thoroughly instructing them in spiritual knowledge, and asked them to do two things in Vrindavan. One, the places of Krishna's pastimes had been lost over time. Restore where those places of pastimes were, and temples where those places of pastimes occurred. That was one service, and they did it. And he started it. Lord Chaitanya set an example. Many of you that have been around a while, you know what happened. Lord Chaitanya spent a few months in Vrindavan. And while he was in Vrindavan, while Lord Chaitanya was in Vrindavan, he went to a place, it was a little remote at that time, and it was basically a field that had a pond in the middle of the field. And he took his bath in the pond that was in the middle of a field, and he declared to everyone, "This is Radhakund." It was lost. It was just a pond in the middle of a field. And you go there today and you see not a pond in the middle of a field. You see Radhakund. And there's a nice history of how it became restored. Very nice history. Principally one of the 6 Goswamis. Long story. But so Lord Chaitanya set the example, places that were lost, and he instructed these most elevated personalities to reestablish those places of Krishna's pastimes. So that's one of the things they did. Another thing that they did, the second thing, principal thing, is write books. To write books, he loaded them up to here in the understandings he wanted them to write books about. And where did he get those understandings from? Because he's Krishna himself, from himself. But with reference, even himself, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes reference to the scriptures, which come from himself. So, but on the authority of the scriptures, Lord Chaitanya gave teachings of the scriptures to his disciples, principally Rupa and Sanatan and others, and asked them to write books. So they wrote books. Volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of books. And in those volumes and volumes of books, he included some teachings that he gave to them that then showed up in writings by subsequent acharyas following Rupa and Sanatan and others. One of those great personalities, this is just a history class, one of those great personalities was Krishnadas Kaviraj. Without all the history, he was one of the chief biographers of Lord Chaitanya's life. And one of the chief biographers of Lord Chaitanya's life, Krishnadas Kaviraj, described many things of how Lord Chaitanya gave teachings. And he's very interesting. I mean, it's all very interesting. One of the interesting things is he, the personality of Godhead, rather like he did in Bhagavad Gita. He instructed Arjuna, and Lord Chaitanya did a role reversal. He asked his disciples to give him teachings. One of those disciples, or one of his part and parcel devotee living entities, was Ramananda Roy, and he started asking Ramananda Roy questions, and Ramananda Roy started giving answers like a ventriloquist. Lord Chaitanya was making him speak, and he started speaking things higher and higher and higher and higher, and Ramananda Roy said, I've never understood these things before, but you're making me speak these things, and they're really nice. And he kept speaking and speaking and speaking. That's Lord Chaitanya. So one of those verses that was spoken and written by Krishnadas Kaviraj in this biography of Lord Chaitanya's life is a nice verse, which I wanted to speak about today. How does devotional service begin? That's a nice question. And an answer, there's different ways of giving an answer. One of the answers is a nice verse. It's often quoted. I'll quote the verse. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Bij. If you know the verse, you can say it with me. We'll say it one more time. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Bij. Bhakti Lata. But lata means a creeper. And everything, creepers included, and trees and plants and people, and everything begins with a seed. That's the bija, lata bija. And the bhakti also has a bija, bhakti lata bija. So how does one get that seed that fructifies into the mature stage of bhakti? Mature stage of bhakti is devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, devotional service in love of God. Nice Sanskrit name. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. It begins with a seed. So how does the seed begin? That's a good question. The answer is right in that verse. It comes by the mercy, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai. Everyone in the room, even new people, I'm sure you know what prasadam is. So, prasadam means mercy, not just something you eat. Prasada means mercy. And the mercy that begins bhakti comes from two sources, or from one primary source through a secondary source. The primary source is Krishna. The primary source is Krishna. The source of everything is Krishna. The source of everything. So the source of mercy comes from Krishna. And then Krishna doesn't do it alone. Krishna empowers representatives of Krishna to deliver Krishna's mercy, or deliver him through his mercy. So, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata Bij. The first part of the verse is, living entities, the jiva, is wandering and wandering and wandering and wandering and wandering throughout the whole of the creation. Brahmanda. Brahmanda means universe. Brahmanda. Anda means egg, and Brahmanda is the universe that's kind of egg-shaped. Not exactly round, it's egg-shaped. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan. Bhagyavan is a nice word. There's Krishna, he's Bhagavan, and then there's the devotee of Krishna who's Bhagyavan. One who receives the mercy of Krishna, who's Bhagavan, is Bhagyavan. The fortunate receives the mercy of the source of everything. Bhagavan is Bhagyavan. Brahmande Brahmita Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, that's us, living entities. Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Bija. So The process of devotional service, bhakti itself, begins with a seed. Now, there's probably some of us in the room, I'm one of them, there's probably others besides me that always wondered, what's that mysterious seed anyway? What's the seed of bhakti anyways? Something kind of mystical. You're not supposed to know what it is. It's just a seed. No, there's a description. It's a science. I mean, a spiritual science, not the material kind, but it's a science. And there's knowledge connected with science, and then you can do it again and again and again because it's a science, once you know the science. Hydrogen plus oxygen, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part hydrogen. That's a theory. And then you can go to the lab and 2 parts and 1 part and voila. It's water. Is there theory, and then there's the experiment that demonstrates, yes, it works. I remember this in 8th grade science class. We made water. He was a nice teacher. He showed us how to do it, and we did it. So we didn't have to just believe in a myth. Water is 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, and that's what water is. We made water right in the science lab. So in everything, with science, there's the theory. This is Prabhupada's way of saying there's jnana and there's vijnana. There's the concept, the notion, the understanding, and then there's the practical experience of it, or the realization of it. So bhakti, devotional service, is similarly scientific. There's a theory, and then there's the application of the theory, and you can do it again and again and again and again, and it works every time, because it's a science. You know, there's conditions, but in the lab, anyway, there's conditions. But there's principles that will always work again and again because it's a science. So the science of the seed of bhakti, what is it? What is it? What is it? If you don't ask the question, you're not likely to get an answer, because even if the answer is given, if you're not inquisitive, it can just bang you on the head and you still won't get it because you weren't asking the question. It's good to ask questions. It's good to know that you don't know and want to know. It's good. It's a qualification. That's the preliminary qualification. That's the adau shraddha. No, I'm making reference to Rupa Goswami, who in 2 verses in his writing, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, gave an explanation of stages of bhakti, and it starts with preliminary faith. Preliminary faith goes like this. Beyond all this stuff that's going on, there's a reality, there's a higher reality. I just have that confidence. I don't know what it is, but I want to know what it is. So there's 3 things. There's a higher reality, I know that I don't know, and I want to know. That's the starting point. Then there's, where does that come from? And the answer to that is, there's a science to it. It comes from even unknowing association of a devotee, of someone who's carrying bhakti, that awakens within the heart, and the one has that question, that faith, that conviction, adau shraddha. Then along comes somebody that's carrying bhakti. That's the sadhu sangha. And that sadhu, or that devotee, carrying bhakti on you. Because they're carrying bhakti in their bhakti vessel, their heart. And you get bhakti eyes. Oh, excuse me. And by that association with sadhus, that's how one gets the seed. Now I made reference that Lord Chaitanya gave teachings through his own devotees, who he was like the ventriloquist and had them say words that some of the words they knew, but he was having them say the words anyways. And then it went higher and higher and higher and higher. So one of those persons was named Ramananda Roy. Who was Ramananda Roy? He was a governor of a major part of the kingdom of King Prataparudra, and without all the details and names and things, he was a governor. He was he was a ruler, a kshatriya, or an administrator type guy. But he was also very learned. And so Lord Chaitanya pressed his learning button, and out came all these learnings, all these things that he understood, and then things that he didn't understand and things that he didn't understand. So Lord Chaitanya was asking about bhakti. How does it begin? And how does it grow? So this is diksha, this is the process of diksha. And one of the things that's needed is the seed. So how does the seed come? There's a very nice teaching that is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I'm going to, the first line of the verse, many devotees know, some devotees may not know. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Shri Srinitai Chaitanya Chandra Ki Jai. The temple in central New Jersey has a noisy curtain like this too. Like you have to stop because the curtain makes so much noise. So, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. Say it again 2 more times. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. 1 more time. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. So, bhakti is the part of the Sanskrit, but it's nice to know what these words mean, especially we don't know that. I like Sanskrit because I don't know what the words mean, and I want to know what the words mean. But so I need a teacher to teach me what the words mean, and then you say what the teacher says, and then it's not initially it's just words, but eventually it becomes like a feeling. Anyway, bhakti implies service. It's right in Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti Sanskrit works with root meanings, dhatu. So the root meaning of bhakti is bhaj, and bhaj, not like B-H-A-J, not the English word bhaj. So it means rendering of service, using the senses to serve the master of the senses. It implies, it indicates service. So bhakti rasa, rendering an activity with your senses for the master of the senses, where there's a rasa, there's taste. Bhakti rasa, Krishna Bhakti rasa, bhavita mati. The operative word described by our acharyas, I'll make 2 references. Described by our acharyas as matihi means intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence is a discerning capacity. You can tell one thing from another thing. That's IQ test. Think about it. It's just, here's a row of 4 things, and an IQ test is which is the one that's not part of these other 3. And that's an IQ test. Discern this from that. And an intelligent person can discern this from that. A person who's not intelligent, they can't discern this from that. In fact, they take it the other way. That's this and this is that. That's the unintelligent person. So, matihi is having a discerning capacity where my existence is meant for serving the master of the senses, Krishna. Krishna, bhakti rasa. And it's the rasa part is not just what's in it for me, it's what's in it for Krishna. Bhakti rasa is Krishna is enjoying. That's what bhakti rasa is. The pleasure, the rasa, the sweetness that Krishna experiences when persons... Krishna doesn't need anything from us. What does Krishna need from us? He's the source of everything, including us, and any stuff we might have that we might want to give him. But it's the love with which we offer something that's where the rasa is. We experience rasa because Krishna experiences rasa, because we're part of Krishna. And that's bhakti life. So, one more time. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita mati. So, the seed, according to our acharyas, the seed is this matihi. That's the disposition or the discernment, the intelligent faculty, spiritual intelligence that says, this is what I want. Now, there's lots of other wants. Why are there lots of other wants? Because we have other kinds of shelter. You don't have Krishna's shelter, and you want N number of different things. It's called distraction. We all know what distraction. Put your hand in your bead bag, start to chant Hare Krishna, and watch what your mind does. It's called distraction. That's what the mind does. Why? Because it's not, the seed is missing. Now it's there otherwise you wouldn't put your hand in your bead bag. But the distraction is here because there's other things besides Krishna that's bouncing around inside the mind, or inside the heart, or your purpose of life. The purpose of life is me, myself, and I. And Krishna's in the picture too. And but bhakti life is not, that's not the picture. The bhakti life is Krishna. Krishna Eka Sharana. Krishna alone is my place of shelter and my source of happiness, my source of rasa. It's my existence is serving Krishna. And that starts as a seed. That's the bhakti lata bij that one may get from the association of one who's carrying it. It's a very simple principle. The science of bhakti is so simple. You can't give to somebody something you don't have. You can give something to somebody if you have something. Say it again the other way. You can't give something to somebody that you don't have. So supposing you're just a new person, or newer, or something like that. You don't have a lot of bhakti. But the little bit of bhakti you have, you can give that little bit of bhakti, and persons can be benefited from that little bit of bhakti that you just shared with them. And the nature of bhakti is it doesn't diminish. You give something and you lose it. No, you give something and it grows. It's mystical. And start giving it a lot, and it starts to grow a lot. And then you have to receive, but you also have to give. And that's our bhakti life. You give and you receive, and you give and you receive, and you live your life that way. So the seed of bhakti is how bhakti begins. And then once the seed of bhakti is received, what are you supposed to do with the seed? You want to fructify the seed, because what can happen with a seed is it can stay in a seed form for a long time. How long? Who knows how long? Take a bag of seeds and put it on your shelf, come back, 5 generations later, it's sitting on the shelf. There's life still in that seed. Then you take one of the seeds, and then you do the, put it in some medium where the seed can start to soften, and then some sunlight. And the life that was inside starts to come out. It's a little story. I've always been curious. I mean, it's good to be curious. To know that you don't know and want to know, that's good. And you want to know the absolute, that's even better than just being curious. But I was curious about lots of stuff. So one of the things that I heard is you can grow a mango tree from a mango seed. That was a concept. I said, is it true? Let me see if it's true. So I found out from some horticulture people how you can fructify the life that's within a mango seed. So I got a mango seed, it's a nice mango, and then the seed was left inside. So I took the seed, put it in this medium that's meant to soften the shell of the mango seed, and it took a long time because mango seeds are really strong, very protective seed covering. And sure enough, after a long time, the seam along the seed started to bulge because the seed inside started to grow and it started to open. And then, boop, the seed inside, the life of the mango tree inside started to expand, and the seed couldn't contain it anymore. And the top and the bottom broke apart. And it started to grow and started to grow. It's like a little story, a kid's story, and now, it takes a long time for a mango seed to become a mango tree, and I didn't wait around for that. But at least I became convinced there's life inside that seed. Similarly, the seed of bhakti has life. And all you have to do is you follow the instructions of you cultivate the seed. That the main cultivation of the seed of bhakti is how bhakti begins. Hearing and chanting, shravanam kirtanam, sound. Hearing sound and vibrating the sound. And just like we, at the very beginning, we chanted together Brahma Samhita prayers. Many don't know the meaning, and that's quite okay. The sound is purifying. Stick around and chant it for, every day with great reverence and attention, like Prabhupada said, and something happens. Sound does something. Spiritual sound awakens spiritual consciousness and removes coverings. And the life that's inside starts to grow and grow and grow and grow, if it's done properly. There's a science to it. You have to do science experiments with the proper conditions, and it'll grow, and it'll grow, and it'll grow. So Diksha is a stage of bhakti, according to these 9 stages of bhakti, in the bhajana kriya stage. So those of you that have been around for a while, you know there's 9 stages of bhakti. And for those of you who haven't been around for a while, here's the first 3. We mentioned them already. The first is preliminary faith. The second is association with those that are carrying bhakti. So adau shraddha, sadhu sangha, and then comes the third stage is bhajana kriya. Kriya means activity, and activity of bhajan, the activity of glorification and service to the Supreme. Bhajana kriya has the same root as bhakti. Remember? The root, the dhatu for bhakti is bhaj. Read Bhagavad Gita, you'll find it in the Bhaktivedanta purports. The root word, the dhatu for bhakti is bhaj. That means devotional service. rendering of service. So bhajana kriya is the activities of doing service, such as hearing and chanting. And this diksha, which is happening today, is in that bhajana kriya stage. And what is it? Diksha is receiving and taking shelter, formalizing. What we're doing today is recognizing someone in the room here has deliberately decided with intelligence, with this matihi, with determination, resolve, and a sense of purpose, with intelligence, light is at least on to some degree, preliminary stage of, I want to take shelter of the source of everything, Krishna. And I've heard from scripture that source of everything is Krishna, so I accept with faith, at least some preliminary faith, that source is Krishna. I'm taking shelter there. So Diksha is the formalization of that taking shelter. So when I stop talking, which is going to be really soon, get ready for an abrupt ending, there are vows of initiation. And the vows of initiation indicate I commit to Krishna to do the following things. And on the reciprocation end, Krishna accepts me. Now, Krishna doesn't have to stand in the room and say, Hari Bol. He can do that if he wants. But he can do also through the representative. You got a talking telephone, a singing telephone. Krishna does things through representatives. He's the source of everything, and he's everywhere by his potency, but he's also everywhere by his representatives. And his representatives do things on his behalf. Prabhupada, the language that Prabhupada called was the current link, meaning chain has links. The chain of disciplic succession has links. So the current link has representing the prior link, represents the prior link, represents the prior link, represents the source. The current link is accepting the submission, but the submission is not to that current link, the submission is unto the source. And the acceptance is from the source through disciplic succession. We can't see the disciplic succession. You can say it's invisible or it's not physically palpable, touched by my senses. But by spiritual understanding, that's what's going on. The submission is unto Krishna, acceptance by Krishna. That's Diksha. And one nice devotee here is going to take Harinam Diksha, which indicates their submission and Krishna's acceptance. And therefore, there's procedures. Part 1, here's part 2. Hare Krishna. There's procedures for Diksha. With one of them, when those that were here in the beginning, you saw one of them, neck beads. There's a procedure in Vedic texts which is called Pancha Sanskara. And one of the 5, the Pancha, is neck beads. Another is tilak. Another is a name. Another is tapa, austerity. So another is deity. Traditionally, at the time of Diksha, the disciple is given a deity by their guru. This is tradition. Now, here's your deity. you may have deities in your home, that's also very nice. But if you don't, if you do, if you don't, is both good. Here's the deity, and the vows are then taken before the deity. So this is now my deity. My initiation took place before Radha Govinda in New York. So those of you that know my phone number, when you look at my phone number, you see Radha Govinda. You see Govindaji, the face of Govindaji. And my own phone is Radharani. They're in here. I travel, but they're in here. Wherever I am. So they're my Ishtadev. That's public disclosure. And so this is part of the process of Diksha. The submission and acceptance. And formalizing it. And then vows that are taken. And one last thing. When vows are taken, something that I learned before I became a devotee and was reinforced when I became a devotee. And the teaching goes like this, very simple. A man is only as good as his word. I'll say it a second time. A man is only as good as his word. If you give your word, you keep your word. And if you're not sure about keeping your word, you don't give your word. You say something else. Let me think about it, or give me a little more time, or I'm not, or something. But if you give your word, you keep your word. Whatever it takes, you keep the word. And just like we discussed yesterday, we're going to discuss this evening about Grandfather Bhishma. He kept his word. Maharaj Parikshit kept his word. Great souls, they keep their word. They give their word, they keep their word. So vows are meant, they're serious things. So don't take vows if you don't mean to keep them. But when you take vows, you keep them for the rest of your life. Unless there's permission that says, or something. Somebody is, extremely ill. So ill. One of my godbrothers, he had a triple bypass heart surgery. And he couldn't breathe. So he couldn't chant because he couldn't breathe. I mean, he was enough that there was air going in his lungs, but that there was no voice. So he wasn't able to chant. He was pardoned for being unable to chant. But unless you're just like physically not able, you somehow keep your commitments. So there's vows that are taken. The vows is to the current link, but the vow is before Krishna himself. And Krishna is hearing your vows, and Krishna smiles and says, very well. So what comes next in our little procedure here is there's name giving and taking of vows. Before that happens, we're going to ask Mataji to say something about our candidate for initiation. Does she have a portable microphone for her? Technology sometimes works. Here comes the portable microphone. And this is just something, this isn't something Prabhupada did, it's something I like. Many of you in the room may know her, some of you may not know her. And it's always nice to say something nice about somebody that's receiving Krishna's mercy. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So I feel extremely honored to be able to say a few words for my friend Inessa Bekanovic. She was born in Russia, and she spent part of her teenage years in, see if I can say this right, Mogilev, Belarus. And she finished her high school education there, and she also graduated from the university there with a law degree.
Ooh.
She married her husband in 2005, Brahmanya Das. And in 2009, I hope I can pronounce this correctly, in 2009, they welcomed their daughter, wait just a second, Bojana, did I say it right? Bojana. Okay. And then in 2014, they left and came to the United States and settled in Vancouver, Washington. And that now they currently reside in Oregon City, Oregon. And they're part of our community now. Inessa loves to read Srila Prabhupada's books, and she's been steadily chanting the prescribed number of rounds for the last 4 years in preparation for this day, for Diksha initiation. And I personally know that Inessa is a very serious devotee. She is humble, asks me questions like, what can she do differently that will enable her to make even more advancement? I'm not used to that, so that was really refreshing. Also, there was a time we all know that Krishna is a person. The Supreme Lord is a person. And there was a time in this movement when the devotees were tinged with impersonalism. And so whenever someone might fall ill or be severely infirmed in some way, they would just continue to do their other services and not take care of another devotee. I recently became very severely ill with bronchitis, and Inessa sent me medication, herbal medication, cough syrup. She sent me Ayurvedic supplemental powder, and she sent me my favorite Iceland moss tea, which was very soothing, and she had warned me it was bitter, but it wasn't. And to me, this shows personalism. This is a relatively young devotee, and she's very personal, and it's important that we take care of each other. So for that, Inessa, I will always be grateful to you, and I'll never forget that. So I am very happy to see her enter into Harinam Diksha initiation. It's a very auspicious occasion. Hare Krishna, dear Anissa. Hari Bol.
Okay. It's not easy to listen to you're being glorified. You're crying and you're blushing, and but it's okay because everyone else is being benefited by hearing these words. Go to before Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa-san here, pay obeisances, then before the deities, then you come over to get your beads and your name. How many years ago you were initiated?
4 years ago.
4 years ago. In Belarus?
No, it was online initiation before my surgery. I was here.
Okay.
The initiation was in Vrindavan.
In Vrindavan. How nice. We'll just pretend this is Vrindavan. So before the deities and Srila Prabhupada and the devotees and your husband and your standard Prabhupada gave us two, I added another one. So on your beads, you'll chant how many
intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
Very good. One devotee was in front of Prabhupada and he was so nervous, he got stuck and he couldn't say the fourth one. And Prabhupada then asked, is that the one you're attached to? But you did fine. And the other vow I'd like you to take is, for the rest of your life, as you've been doing with your good husband, continue following Prabhupada's teachings as best you can. Very good. Initiated name. Here we go. Ishani Devi Dasi. I'll give this to you later. This has how you, the diacritics and the spelling. Ishani has two meanings. One is the mercy of Krishna is known as Kripa Shakti, and our acharyas have given their divisions or manifestations of Krishna's Kripa Shakti, and Ishani is one of those primary divisions of Krishna's mercy. And so you Ishani Dasi, Devi Dasi. And another meaning is queen, like Isha is king, and Ishani is the female queen. So those are the meanings of your name. Here's the little spelling and everything. So you can go back and have a seat, and we'll have our pujari do the rest. I gave it to her already. Oh. We're in suspense. Do you need a microphone? You need a microphone. Can someone take this microphone?
You understand?
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Om Govinda 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 Om Tatsad Brahmana Ditya Prarabde Shri Shvedavara Kalpe Vaivasutak Samanustre Ashtavingsata Kaliyuga Prathama Sandhyayam Brahmana Vingsata Prathmanayam Panchati Ashtansa Gaurabde Uttarayana Sitarutehu Madhusudana Maase Narayana Maase Krishna Pakshe Dhanurasi Siddhabhaskare Ashtami Titho Ravivar Nitayam Hasta Nakhetra Sanjuktayam Bhumandala Jambudvipa Bharatavarsha Bharatkhande Medi Uttarasya Dakhina Lavana Uttarasya Kone Gangaya Purabhage Sri Mayapur Dhamni Lisvara Dhamni Sri Vigra Brahmana Vaishnava Sannidho Sri Srinitaya Satyanandana Sri Sri Radha Madhava Nusuni Pandatatta Prithyartham Ev Gona Svishta Vishishtayam Asvinisva Divase. Your name? Ishani Devi Dasi Vachutagatra उपनयन संस्कार कार्ये सर्ववाद विघ्न खंडनम श्री कृष्ण चरणपति कामः सर्वरोग विनाशनम सर्वकंटन नाशनम सर्वपुद्रवनाशनम वयम करिष्यामि। ओम तद विष्णु परम पदम सदा पुष्ण सूर्यादिव चक्षुरातम तद्भि पार्षिपनाभ जागर वंशं संजय विष्णु प्रमदम। ओम शांति ही ओम शांति ही ओम शांति ही। यस। ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव शादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम हरि ओम। ओम सानावनंतो सा वीर्य करवा वही तेजस्विनामोदितं मम विदिस्वा। ओम शांति ही ओम शांति ही ओम शांति ही। ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव शादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम पुनंत देवजना पुनंतु मनसा धिया पुनंत विश्वभूतानि जात वेद पुनः इमम्। ओम अस्य गणपन्याहं भवन्तु भवन्तु। ओम पुण्याहम् ओम पुण्याहम् ओम पुण्याहम्। ओम उद्गातवे सुकुनि साम गायत्री ब्रह्मपुत्री वसावनुषे सांससि ब्रोवे स्वभाजि सुमात्र पित्याय सर्वतनाः सुकुनि ब्रावदः विश्वतनाः सुकुनि पुण्यावदः। ओम अस्य कोण स्वस्ति भवन्तु भवन्तु आयुष्मते स्वस्ति। ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति। ओम स्वस्ति न इंद्र विदिस्वा स्वस्ति न पुष्यविदा स्वस्ति न त्राक्षरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति न बृहस्पति धातुः। ओम अस्य कर्ण रिद्यम ओम दुब्रंतम ओम रिद्यतम ओम रिद्यतम ओम रिद्यतम। ओम रिद्धम स्तवनु सारभदमांत्रमं सारथ्य पियत्यम यस्नोपकम आदिगस्वन्तो युत्सः अस्मिन् काम अप्राहोम। स्वस्ति न गोविंदा स्वस्ति न अच्युतानंतो स्वस्ति न वासुदेव विष्णु धातुः स्वस्ति न नाड़ नरवे स्वस्ति न पद्मनाभ पुरुषोत्तम धातुः स्वस्ति न विश्वक्षण विश्वसनरि स्वस्ति न ऋषिकेश शरीर धातुः स्वस्ति न विनतहरि स्वस्ति नंदनासुत भानुर्भागवत धातुः स्वस्ति स्वस्ति सुमंगलकेश अथ श्रीकृष्ण सच्चिदानंदघन सर्वेश्वर धातुः। ओम शांति ही ओम शांति ही ओम शांति। ओम तद विष्णु परमं पदम सदा पुष्यन्ति सूर्यादिव चक्षुरातम तद्भि पार्षि पनाभ जागर वंशं विष्णु प्रमदम। ओम तद विष्णु परमं पदम सदा पुष्यन्ति सूर्यादिव चक्षुरातम तद्भि पार्षि पनाभ जागर वंशं विष्णु प्रमदम। ओम तद विष्णु परमं पदम सदा पुष्यन्ति सूर्यादिव चक्षुरातम तद्भि पार्षि पनाभ जागर वंशं विष्णु प्रमदम। ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव शादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम ओम भर्व स्वाहा इदम विष्णु इदम नमः स्वाहा। ओम भर्व स्वाहा इदम अच्युताय इदम नमः स्वाहा। ओम स्व स्वाहा इदम नारायण इदम नमः स्वाहा। ओम भर्व स्वाहा इदम अनंताय इदम नमः स्वाहा। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मया ददन्ति स्वपदान्तिकं स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् इदं गुरुवेदं नमः स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। ओम वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं नित्यं तं सञ्जीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री श्री राधाकृष्ण सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं सं स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। ओम श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति सुपदन्तिकं स्वाहा। इदं रसचार्य इदं नमः। ओम श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति सुपदन्तिकं स्वाहा। इदं रसचार्य इदं नमः। ओम श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति सुपदन्तिकं स्वाहा। इदं श्री रसचार्य इदं नमः। ओम वंद्यं श्री गुरु श्रीयुत पदकमलं श्री गुरुं वैष्णवांश श्री रूपं साग्रजातं सगुण रघुनाथं नित्यं तं स्वाद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण देव सगुण ललिता श्री विशाखानितं सं स्वाहा। इदं गुरु गौरांगाय इदं राधिकाय कृष्णाभ्य इदं नमः। ओम नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने स्वाहा स्वाहा। इदं संस्थापकाचार्य इदं नमः। ओम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे स्वाहा। इदं संस्थापकाचार्य इदं नमः। ओम नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने स्वाहा। इदं परम गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम श्री वार्षवानवि देवी द्वैतायि कृपाद्वये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानोदायिनी प्रभवे नमः स्वाहा। इदं परम गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम माधुर्य जोले प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदो श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते स्वाहा। इदं परम गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ति दिनतारिणी रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांतहारिणे स्वाहा। इदं परम गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षाद वैराग्य मूर्ति विप्रलंबर संबोध पादम भुजाय ते नमः स्वाहा। इदं परापर गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने श्री गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगोवराय ते स्वाहा। इदं परात्पर परमे गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम गौराब्रीवाव भूमिस्थं निर्दिष्टं सुजनं प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः स्वाहा। इदं परमेष्टि गुरुवे इदं नमः। ओम वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यः वैष्णवेभ्यः नमो नमः स्वाहा। इदं वैष्णव इदं नमः। ओम नमः महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिसे नमः स्वाहा। इदं गौराय इदं नमः। ओम पंचतत्मात्मकं कृष्ण भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताक्षं नमामि भक्त शक्तिकं स्वाहा। इदं पंचतत्वाय इदं नमः। ओम हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशो गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते स्वाहा। इदं कृष्णाय इदं नमः। ओम जयतं श्रोतो पंगर मम मंद मतिर्गति मत सर्वस पदम मुझ राधा मदन मन हो स्वाहा। इदं सम्मदादिदेव मदन मोहनाय इदं नमः। ओम दिव्यत वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद राधशील गोविंद देवो पृष्ठालिभ्य शवं मन स्मरामि स्वाहा। इदं अभिदायि देव गोविंदाय इदं नमः। ओम श्रीमान रास सारंभी वंशी भट्ट तटस्थ कोषण वेणु स्वर्णिर गोपी गोपीनाथ येस्तुने स्वाहा। इदं प्रयोजनादि देव गोपीनाथ इदं नमः। ओम तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा। इदं राधिकाय इदं नमः। ओम तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा। इदं राधिकाय इदं नमः। ओम तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा। इदं राधिकाय इदं नमः। ओम जय नृसिंह श्री नृसिंह जय 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 श्री नृसिंह उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णु जलं तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं विष्णुं भद्रं मृत नमाम्यहं श्री नृसिंह जय 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 श्री नृसिंह प्रह्लादेश जय पद्म मुख पद्म भृंगः स्वाहा। इदं नरसिंहाय इदं नमः। ओम जय नृसिंह श्री नृसिंह जय 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 श्री नृसिंह उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णु जलं तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं विष्णुं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युर्नमाम्यहं श्री नृसिंह जय 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 श्री नृसिंह प्रह्लादेश जय पद्म मुख पद्म भृंगः स्वाहा इदं नरसिंहाय इदं नमः ओम जय नृसिंह श्री नृसिंह जय जय श्री नृसिंह उग्रं वीर महाविष्णु जलं तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं विष्णुं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युर्नमाम्यहं श्री नृसिंह जय जय श्री नृसिंह प्रह्लादेश जय पद्म मुख पद्म भृंगः स्वाहा इदं नरसिंहाय इदं नमः ओम वृंदाये तुलसी देव प्रिया वै केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्यवते नमः स्वाहा इदं तुलसीमाय इदं नमः ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सादि गौर भक्त वृंद स्वाहा इदं पंचतत्वाय इदं नमः ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सादि गौर भक्त वृंद स्वाहा इदं पंचतत्वाय इदं नमः ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सादि गौर भक्त वृंद स्वाहा इदं पंचतत्वाय इदं नमः ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा इदं कृष्णाय इदं नमः ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा इदं कृष्णाय इदं नमः ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा कृष्णाय इदं नमः ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा कृष्णाय इदं नमः ओम भर्गो स्वाहा इदं विष्णवे इदं नमः ओम भर्गो स्वाहा इदं अच्युताय इदं नमः ओम स स्वाहा इदं नारायणाय इदं नमः ओम भर्गो स्वाहा अनंताय इदं नमः हरे कृष्ण पूर्णाहुति खड़ा हो जाए
मम्मी ने पर्स में We're doing stand? Chavi? Huh? No, it's in the room. It's in the prashadam hall. We're doing stand? I don't think so. Are we?
Last time we
I'm so confused. Where's your dad?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Jaya Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Nana Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Gaura. Jaya Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Nitai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Nara Hari. Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Nara Hari. Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Nara Hari. Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Neela Madhav, Radha Neela Madhav, Radha Neela Madhav Shri Radhe. Neela Madhav, Radha Neela Madhav, Radha Neela Madhav Shri. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.